Hey there, Christine Rustin with Empower Ways here with your Kick Your Sugar Habit session. I am so excited that you joined us, that you can learn how to kick your sugar habit and just live a healthier and happier life for good. So how did I end up talking to you about sugar? Well, to be honest with you, I myself definitely used to be addicted to sugar. I also struggled with binge and emotional eating. It was just a downward spiral that I continued to experience what literally was it like week in and week out. And it all began many years ago. I was 15 years old and my mom brought home this very unique diet. It was a 7-day soup diet. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've even done it before. Well, this diet promised to lose anywhere between 5 to 12 pounds literally in a 7-day period. And you know what was insane? It really worked. No surprise, you eat very little food, so I'm sure you only lost water weight, but even so at the time, I was like, wow, I did this and lost 7 pounds. And friends and family members were complimenting me and congratulating me and saying, wow, you look so good, what have you done? Well, sure enough, after I stopped doing the diet, once the 7 days was up, I returned back to old eating ways. And what do you suppose happened when I did so? Well, you probably guessed correctly, I just went back to my old body. So I did what I knew best. I literally just went back on this diet time and time again. And sure enough, as I experienced extreme hunger and then ate a lot and then extreme hunger and eat a lot, I found myself like in this binge cycle that my go-to was absolutely sugar. So within a few years, this cycle just continued and continued. Within a few years, I found myself 30 pounds heavier and I just felt just awful about myself. I didn't like what I was seeing. I didn't even, at times want my husband to get close to me because I was afraid if he would notice the weight gain as well. And so I just started to isolate and I started to eat even more. Feeling that low doesn't make you want to go out and be with people. It doesn't really let you laugh a lot anymore because I was just so insecure and consumed with how I felt about myself and also how I thought other people might think of me as well. What's interesting is I decided to set a really big goal for myself. I actually decided to do a fitness competition. Now, for one, I wanted to challenge my body, but for two, I knew that there would be this really strict eating program that would help me to lose the weight, and I was really hoping that it would finally be for good. But as you can imagine, I went through the program, once again only returned to old ways, and I was like, oh man, there just has to be a different way. Like embarking on these strict eating programs was actually allowing me to suffer more and more long term. So what's so interesting is that I found this program and I was like, you know what? This actually makes more sense. It was something that was based on, eating for what my body's needs were. It was based on honoring my hunger. It was based on, engaging other areas within my life that involved relaxation and joy and empowerment. And I was blown away. It took some time, but within only a few weeks, people started complimenting at how much I was starting to look different, how they noticed how much I was feeling different and just carrying myself different. And so after doing this for a few years, I really thought, okay, what sort of a program can we bring to people so that they too can truly break free and live a healthier, happier life? And that's when I developed the Food Freedom Program. At first it was for 3 clients. And then it grew to 12 clients, and now it's helping so many people all across the nation to truly kick their sugar habit and to break free from binge and emotional eating. So how do you know if you're in the right place? Well, you're in the right place if you've ever wondered why you crave sugar at certain times or even all the time. You're in the right place if you're done reinventing the wheel and just want someone to tell you what to do. You're in the right place if you want to discover what is keeping you stuck so that you can finally get unstuck. You're also in the right place if you're ready to finally get this sugar thing handled so that you can let your very best self shine forward. If these describe you, then you are exactly in the right place. In fact, if this is you, it's no accident that we're together. Because today I'm going to show you how you can kick your sugar habit so you can live a happier, healthier life. Now, I do recognize we have a limited time together. I'm going to teach you as much as I can today, and I promise before we finish, I will show you how you can take it even a step further if you want to. There are three main challenges people experience when they want to kick sugar. The first challenge is wondering why sugar cravings feel out of control and what to do about it. There's something I want to share with you called the polarity of food. Have you heard of this before? Maybe not. So what exactly does it mean? Well, the concept of polarity is pretty simple. It's based on the principle that everything has two polarities or extremes. So for example, hot and cold temperatures of the pole called temperature. It's the same with every apparent opposite. We see hard and soft, noisy and quiet, light and dark, love and fear. When you find one thing, you also find the potential for its opposite. So how does this concept apply to food? Well, interestingly, we also see these polarities play out in food. So I want you to consider food has energy that goes beyond just calories and nutrient value. So for example, we see things like root vegetables, including carrots and potatoes. They grow deep into the ground. Well, these have a grounding energy to them. Meanwhile, we see other vegetables, like let's say lettuce, for example, that grows upwards, and so it has an uplifting energy to it. So what exactly does the polarity of food look like? And how can these polarities actually be creating some of your cravings? I want you to look at something with me for just a moment. Let's consider one extreme I like to call expansive bliss. Foods that represent this energy are found in caffeine, sugar, dairy, alcohol, and to some extent even fruit. The energy of these foods make you feel light, relaxed, and happy. But when you eat too many of these bliss foods, you start to feel a little foggy, maybe even a little forgetful, especially if you've had too much alcohol. Then on the other extreme, we see contracted tension foods, and these are foods that are contractive versus expansive. Examples of these foods include salt, eggs, and even red meat. These are the kinds of foods that put meat on your bones. They make you feel grounded, focused, and controlled. Our body literally is a system of opposites. When we experience an extreme on one side, it actually wants to balance the opposite out. So when you eat too many contracted foods, like let's say eggs, red meat, salty foods, your body naturally starts to want the opposite. Now, maybe you've had this experience. Have you ever eaten, let's say, French fries as an example, and you crave something afterwards, like ice cream? This is exactly what I'm referring to. This is the polarity that we're talking about here. The body seeking to balance itself out. You know, we also experience this even within our energy of the things that we do day to day. So let's say, for example, you're engaged in a lot of tense, contracted activities like working lots of hours, high stress meetings, maybe high stress workouts where you're bringing on a lot of heavy lifting. Maybe you're dealing with high stress emotions with clients or even your children. These contracted, tense-based activities actually lead us to craving the comfort foods. And you've probably experienced this a time or two. You've had a full, stressful day at work and you come home to what? I don't know, maybe it's a tub of ice cream. Maybe you grab a Slurpee on your way home. Or maybe you just find that box of cookies and have maybe not one or two, but 8, 9, or 10. If you've been there, you're among the many who've experienced this exact same thing before. So what do we do about this? Well, these contractive, higher stress activities actually are an indication that we need to relax more. Relaxing by doing things like going for a walk, doing a yoga class, spending some time breathing or meditating or enjoying, just a intimate personal conversation with a good friend. Doing these activities offer us comforting, expansive activities so we don't seek these so much in food. The second challenge around kicking the sugar habit is that it just feels so good to eat it, right? Well, why does it feel so darn good? Let's take a quick look at what's happening in the body when you eat sugar and why we experience such an incredible sugar high. Products containing lots of sugar usually don't contain much fiber, fat, or protein. Fiber, fat, and protein slow down the absorption of sugars. So when these nutrients are absent, your blood sugar shoots up really, really fast, like to the top of a roller coaster. Now at the top of this roller coaster, your brain and body aren't very happy. To your body, this is like turning on the sirens as your body screams, emergency, emergency. So what does your body do? Well, your pancreas secretes the hormone insulin to bring your blood sugar back down. But here's the problem. We've spent a lifetime eating a lot of sugar, processed products, so much so that insulin has gotten too good at its job. When insulin is sent out, it doesn't just bring your blood sugar back into balance, there's often too much insulin released and your blood sugar dips way down. So you have this blood sugar crash and your body craves more sugar. And what happens when we eat so much sugar again? Well, our blood sugar goes way up to the top of that roller coaster, and so the cycle continues up and down, up and down, up and down. This is one of the reasons we start eating sugar, and we quite literally cannot stop. So I can only imagine, given that you're watching Kick Your Sugar Habit, that you know exactly what I'm talking about and you've experienced this before. So I'm curious, how does this make you feel? You know, when I think of myself, the crash of sugar makes me incredibly impatient with my children. I honestly am not even the mom that I desire to be when I'm down from a sugar crash. You know, it makes me irritable, it makes me cranky, it makes me just like a demanding, give it to me now type attitude. You know, it also separates me from the people that I love and care about because I'm just not in such a loving and caring mood. And what's interesting, there's even more to this story. We talked about how the body secretes insulin to restore our blood sugar levels back to a balanced level. And what's so intriguing is that insulin tends to increase fat storage in the body. Well, the very opposite hormone is called glucagon. And what's so intriguing is that as the body is producing insulin to restore blood sugar levels, it cannot release glucagon, which is an essential hormone for burning fat. So this is why people who eat sugar and eat more sugar and eat more sugar genuinely do experience more and more and more weight gain, just as I shared I experienced years ago when I suddenly found myself up 30 pounds. Challenge number 3. The final challenge with sugar, and I know this from experience, is that when you're not happy with an area of your life, like your career, your relationships, your body, maybe even your finances, it's sometimes so much easier to reach for sugar than to deal with what's really going on. So cravings may seem like one big pain in the butt, but here's a thought for you. What if your cravings are simply a messenger to help you step into the best version of who you are? That would be pretty amazing, wouldn't it? In fact, here's what happened with one of the clients that I've recently worked with. You know, she too would say that she absolutely had a sugar addiction. Often she'd find herself mid-afternoon eating 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cookies, and she just couldn't stop. So I asked her, I was really curious, I wonder what is it specifically that you're eating so many of those cookies at that time of the day? And she said, you know what, Christine, I am just so petrified. When those kids come home, I just lose all sense of control. Her desire was to be in control. And when I asked, what is it that control represents for you? She said, it represents ease. It represents connection. And so when we got to the bottom, what she was really looking for, this client in specific wanted connection. She wanted to be able to connect and communicate with her kids in such a way that was pleasurable and enjoyable, not in a way that meant they came home, threw their stuff everywhere, and she started screaming at them to get their stuff put together and to move on to the next activity. This was a key indicator to help her to overcome her sugar habit. She found that when she started to connect and communicate with her family, both her children and her husband, in such a way that brought that comfort energy to her, she no longer reached for cookies. She no longer even had a need or wanted them in any way, shape, or form. Well, I know you didn't come here just to talk about the challenges. You came here for solutions. Let's have a look at that now so you can discover how you can start to kick your sugar habit for good. So 7 solutions to kicking your sugar cravings. The first thing is to check your bevies. That's right, I said bevies, meaning beverages. Sounds crazy, but sometimes sweet cravings are a sign of dehydration. So have a glass of water or two. Wait 10 minutes and see if that craving's still there. Also, too much caffeine mimics a blood sugar crash. You're high for a bit and you're coming down and you crave more sugar. So lessening your caffeine intake to 1, maybe 2 cups of coffee can help you curb your sugar habit just like that. The second thing is to satisfy your sweet tooth with sweet veggies, fruits, and spices. Add naturally sweet foods and spices to your diet like squash, yams, carrots, beets, bananas, apples, cinnamon, nutmeg, and even cloves. The third is sleep. For so many of us, this is easier said than done. But if you're constantly tired, your body is going to look for energy, usually in the forms of caffeine or sugar. Power down an hour earlier than usual and just notice how your cravings disappear. So the fourth is check your protein. So this is a fun and cool fact. Eating too little animal protein can lead to massive sweet cravings, and eating too much also can lead to sweet cravings. When I work with clients, we find just the right sweet spot for protein intakes that they can feel satisfied. Number 5 is to sniff out low-fat and fat-free foods. When food manufacturers take the fat out of foods, what do you think they put in? If you said sugar, you are exactly right. Number 6 is to move yourself. You know, movement is another kind of food for your body. It releases stress, allowing you to look and feel great. When you don't get enough movement, your body starts to look for other ways to blow off steam, like binging on chips and chocolate bars. Number 7, it's to create post-meal rituals. Now, for some people, they already have a ritual, and that involves dessert. So if you're a dessert after your meal kind of person, one of the things that you might love about that is that it is a ritual, something you get to look forward to. So what other possibilities for post-meal rituals could you engage in? Maybe it's a herbal cup of tea. Maybe it's going out for a walk for some fresh air. Well, I want to tell you how to take today's useful information and to turn it into a transformation that lasts. Would you say, now that we just talked about some things that you can do, that you feel confident and ready to go so that you can actually kick your sugar habit for good? Some of you probably do. While I can assume that for the majority of you, you don't feel equipped at all. And why is that? Well, information alone generally just isn't enough. What also engages the transformation process is when we can involve another 3 key ingredients. This includes the right support, the right accountability, and the right system. You know, it literally was just a few months ago, I had a client who came to me where she had, been on a bunch of health programs in the past, and for a while, things were going good and she was feeling great. She came to me saying, Christine, I don't even know where to begin. I feel like I have taken so many steps back. I feel like I am literally at the beginning point again of where I was about 5 or 6 years ago. She said, I need help. I've tried everything and I don't even know what to do. And I shared with her, well, you've tried many things, but you have not tried everything. Come work with me and let's see what we can do together. So she literally went from a place of hating her workouts, overeating, not planning her eating, binge eating, sometimes not eating at all. I mean, this poor girl, she was all over the place. And internally, she was feeling just so out of control because of it. We looked at what used to work for her in the past. We looked at what didn't work. We looked at what she could do differently. And amazingly, we also looked at some of her lifestyle factors, including stress. And what was really intriguing with this client in particular is the moment that we started to engage her in the activities that were her comfort activities, the things that she enjoyed. So things like going for walks with her sister, things like taking the time to paint, things like getting back to a regular workout routine. I'm telling you, this creative energy, this joy, this passion just came alive in her. And it truly helped her to break free from sugar. And it also helped her to break free from binge and emotional eating. Just like this client I just shared, she had lots of information. It wasn't until she came along with the right support, the right system, and the right accountability that things started to unfold for her and she started to take strides one step at a time. And you probably know this too. Having more information isn't necessarily going to change your sugar habit. Since we so enthusiastically cannot do this well on your own, I want to invite you to Food Freedom. Food Freedom is a program that'll help you kick your sugar habit and break free from binge and emotional eating. I'm confident that with each session, you'll experience one major aha or breakthrough that you can put into action every single week so that you can break free from your sugar habit. I want to open up to you the possibility that you haven't tried everything yet. This time really can be different. Even for those of you who are already relatively healthy, you probably still have more goals, more hopes and ambitions that you'd like to achieve in your health. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching this here today. Support and accountability. These are two ingredients proven to make all the difference in the world. So if you're ready for the accountability, the systems, and the support that's going to make this work like nothing you've ever tried, then I invite you to our Food Freedom program. You'll discover what your cravings mean, why you're stuck, how to get unstuck, and what your plan of action is to break free from emotional and binge eating. I know every week you'll experience at least one major aha so that you can live the healthier, happier life that you've always dreamed of. The first is online coaching. If you'd like Food Freedom straight to your inbox so you can gain insight and support from the comfort of your own home while also being a part of an online community, then choose online coaching. If you prefer to be a part of a group for increased support and accountability, then check out our group coaching program. You'll gain wisdom and support to break free while also gaining valuable insight from others who've experienced similar struggles as you. Small group options are also available, which allow to a maximum of 5 participants. And our last opportunity for those of you who prefer focused one-on-one coaching. Here, the focus is on you and you alone, offering you the highest level of accountability and support. Once you've decided which option is right for you, simply click on the coach offer and then click Join Now. I assure you that even if you're the type of person who loves sugar so much that you're like, I don't think I can kick this sugar habit, you are going to learn some really interesting things about those habits so that you genuinely can kick them with ease. I am absolutely confident that you're going to gain valuable wisdom to help you get unstuck. So go ahead, click on that link now and choose one of the 3 coaching options that are best for you. Well, this is absolutely incredible. I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to work with you. I am so excited to be a part of your journey of kicking your sugar habits so you can break free for once and for all and experience that healthier, happier life you've always dreamed of. Thank you so much. We will see you soon. Goodbye.